That's what thank you does. It's gratitude expressed. So here's some pointers on gratitude expressed. First thing is just make it automatic. You make it automatic. So you don't have to think about it. That's what all great habits do. Make it automatic. Learn to say thank you. Next time you're in a restaurant, just do this. Listen to the tables around you and watch how when a server puts a meal in front of somebody, how often they don't say thank you. Amazing. Now, this is someone who's putting food in your mouth. Remarkably, people disrespect their servers all the time. They disrespect the people at the counters when the flights are all screwed up. They disrespect people all the time because they won't not only express gratitude, they express their concerns and complaints. Watch what happens to a server at a restaurant when you say, hey, just say thanks so much. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you. Just say it. Make it automatic. So the expression of it, make it automatic. William Arthur Ward said, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. So get it out. If you feel it, say it. If it's warranted, do it. Say thank you. Express thank you. Write thank you. Next, make it personal. Dale Carnegie said, remember that a person's name to that person is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Now, this is the father of the modern personal growth and development book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And his seminal point is that a person's name is so important. It's the sweetest sound in their ears. We got to make sure that we say thank you and use the person's name. Next, it makes an impact. It makes an impact. Fred DeWitt, he said, gratitude is a currency that we can mint for ourselves and can spend without fear of bankruptcy. And spend without fear of bankruptcy. Cicero said gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. I've been on this for a while. We started this podcast St. Patrick's Day 2016. In season 1 of, it was then the Brian Buffini Show, episode number 27 was gratitude, my secret ingredient for success. I'm a poor immigrant who came to America and built a giant fortune. People always want to know, how did I do it? What's the secret sauce? There's nothing secret about me. I've put it all out there. And I say it to people. And I share it with people. And I tell them I express gratitude. And I tell them to say thank you. And I provide 7.5 million thank you notes to the marketplace every year. And I say, this is what I did. And this is what I did. And then they nod. And they go, okay, now let me go spend 10 grand on some online digital marketing crap that doesn't get me a customer. As opposed to go back to all the ones I had last year. The amount of ministries and people that asked me to be on their board where we're struggling with our fundraising. I go, how are you doing with your gratitude? If you just would go back to the people that gave to you and tell them, here's what we got done. Here's what you contributed to. Here's the lives that were changed. And we just want to thank you for your past contributions. If they just did that, they would double, quadruple, sometimes tenfold the giving. Now, again, people get very expedient. Okay, if I do this, I get more. You know, that's true. But an attitude of gratitude changes the heart. That's the most important part here, is that when you express gratitude, it changes you. It expands you. It expands your heart. It helps you know that you're not just the center of your own universe. I start the day with a prayer of gratitude to God, not to myself. I express gratitude to my bride. I express gratitude to my children. I express gratitude to my staff. I write personal notes and thank you notes every day. And I have for 30 plus years in business. I'll tell you where I got it from. I saw an interview when I first came to America. And it was David Dimbleby, the great British interviewer, and he was interviewing George Bush Sr. Now, George Bush Sr. had lived this crazy kind of a life. He had struck oil in Texas and became a huge oil magnate. He became the head of the CIA. He was vice president of the United States for 8 years, and then he became president of the United States, had 2 sons that became governors, and one that became a president. So kind of an interesting resume. If you're telling the history of America, you kind of have to have George Bush Sr.'s name in there. David Dimbleby asked him, I was in a rented room. I lived in Hillcrest in San Diego, and I remember I used to pay $275 a month for rent because I rented a room in a little old cottage that was built in the 40s. 5-star accommodations. You could see the 5 stars through the hole in the roof, if you know what I mean. And I'm watching this on local PBS channel, and David Dimbleby asked George Bush Sr., you've lived this incredible life, you've had all this success, what's the one thing you've done? And he said, the one thing I've done in my life, he says, I've written at least 10 personal notes every day of thanks to people I came in contact with the previous day or people that came to mind. And I've done that every single day. And that's how I built my fortune myself. I heard that. And at the time he was living in the White House and I was living in a little White House renting a room. And when you do what people at the top do, you end up get to be at the top yourself. And that started out, that was almost 30 years ago. Well, it was more than 30 years ago now that I think about it, that I heard that interview. And I sat down, it was actually, it was 1990, might have been 1989. And I started writing personal notes. And I when I hired my first assistant, I said, put 10 notes with 10 envelopes with stamps on them by the phone that I use every day. And I started doing that. And some days there was 20 and 30, 40 notes there because I didn't get to do them or I got behind. But nothing in my career has cost less money, taken less time, and built a bigger fortune for me than the expression of gratitude, especially through personal notes. Thanks for watching. If you want more tips on how to think, feel, and do better, check out these videos too. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like if you enjoyed the content.